I was just 8 years old. My brother, Rudi, was 11 at the time, and on a rainy day we were playing indoors. I was chasing him down the passage, through various rooms, when my foot caught his ankle. He lost his balance and dived headlong into the sharp edge of the skirting. There was blood everywhere. Naturally, I dreaded my dad coming home, and when he did, I was severely reprimanded and told in no uncertain terms how easily he could have died. 6 months later, my brother Rudi was dead. I was devastated. No mention was made that his death might have been linked to his fall, and I certainly wasn't going to ask. How do you live with yourself when you believe deep down in your heart that you have been the direct cause of someone's injury, disability, or even death? When it comes to taking risk in life, it is of vital importance that the care we take in what we do is relevant and proportionate to best ensure that we stay alive and survive, preserving that one and only life that we have. Now let us talk about adventures that we indulge in without proper preparation and planning, exposing lives to untold risk with serious consequences for the lives of our family and loved ones when things go wrong. This webinar contains the answer to many questions that responsible travelers should consider and take into account when planning their next adventure. This Stay Alive course holds the key to safer adventure travel in the future. It contains more than 500 items you need to consider when planning your next adventure. It consists of 13 sessions, including basic training, which you can study at your own pace, plus a 107-page manual, together with an adventure log, which you can print and take with you on your adventures as a source of reference and to record critical details of your adventure for future reference. You have probably all heard of a movie called 127 Hours, a biographical survival drama of Aaron Ralston in Utah, or the demise of Steve Fossett in the Sierra Nevada. If not, please do some research on Google to acquaint yourself with the important details. Additional escapades, such as hunting adventure out of Fairbanks, Alaska, Yosemite hiking dilemma, or why appoint a coordinator, among others, are covered in detail in this webinar. At a cost of only $89, can you afford to miss this opportunity of equipping yourself with the necessary guidelines that will optimize the likelihood that you stay alive on your next adventure? This is a no-brainer, guys. You need this webinar if you are serious about adventure travel. Remember the last time you answered your cell phone while driving? Sneaked over a red light when you were in a hurry? Raced the train at a level crossing because you were late? If we are perfectly honest, we probably all at some time have done something illegal or dangerous and got away with it. We think. Friends, the secret is that we should actually learn from our mistakes, but instead we become overconfident, increasing risk to our lives. How do you live with yourself when you believe deep down in your heart that you have been the direct cause of someone's injury, disability, or even death? Thanks to a Dale Carnegie course that I attended in my late 20s, I got rid of that guilt 20 years later. Often, we carry such guilt for many years without really being conscious of how it is affecting decisions we make and the impact that has on our futures. So don't miss this opportunity of being better prepared. This talk today is not about my travels and adventures, but rather about yours. Spare a thought for the wives who are deeply concerned when their husbands take off on yet another adventure. But wait, is that really all your life is worth? We all have one thing in common. What is that, you ask? We all only have one life. When you invite along a friend, that your choices and decisions you make extend to your friends' families and those that they are responsible for. If at the end of the day, I only succeed in saving a single life, then this entire effort will have been worthwhile. Could that one life possibly be yours? I have created a closed Ask Hoagie Facebook group where we can interact and share our experience. Right now, register as a subscriber. Ring that bell to ensure that you are kept informed. Your life, your future is in your hands.
I really love to visit Vietnam because of the beautiful nature and just the beautiful beaches. Yeah, that's the next on my bucket list.
So the purpose of this course is to highlight the importance of proper planning and preparation for these adventures. A bucket list is a collection summary you wish to fulfill before you die. This list should preferably be in writing. I believe that a bucket list is a continuous work in progress. The longer you have, the more thorough can be your research. In many cases, this part is easily overlooked, and many have paid the price with their lives for failure. Planning and preparation for your adventure begins the moment you commit. In order to maintain momentum, one of the first requirements is to ensure when, then where, and then how. Research the frequency of storms, hail, floods. To enjoy that beauty and peace that God created for our enjoyment.
What is a place where no man's gone before? It is an idiom which describes a place of isolation, a place where days go by without seeing a soul, a place where none of your traditional devices work, a place where you can see every star in the sky, a place where there is such peace and quiet that the only sound you will hear, a place where you are at total peace within your soul.
In certain circumstances, it might well take you a full day to travel 10 kilometers or less. You find that the silence all but hurts your ears, that you can reach out and touch it. Knowledge is the power. You have the internet. Use it. Always err on the side of caution. Why the need? People can argue why this should be necessary until the day that something goes wrong. But what about the balance? Even if the chances of that being 1% or even less, we must never forget the reality that we all only have one life. And if and when an occasion arises where you fall into that group of even less than 1%, in the last few hours, minutes, and seconds of your life, you will vividly remember this day, this webinar. If only you would have listened to the advice. Did I ever do this? To be brutally honest, no, I did not. As is the case with most of us, we're confident that we fall in the majority and have no need to disrupt and intrude in a friend's life. That is, not until it happens. Take it or leave it. That's your call. Given the high cost for gas prices today, this probably applies especially to those who have bought a vehicle to use for the purpose it was designed for. Take advantage of this opportunity to equip themselves. It will optimize the likelihood of you returning alive, that you fully understand the responsibility that comes with the territory, because I care and your life is important. There is one vehicle for every 8 humans on this planet. South Africa has grown from 14% to 41%. In the main, there are fundamentally 2 reasons. Then fitting of 4-wheel drive is actually a no-brainer. They are actually buying this type of vehicle for the specific purpose they are designed for. If you're planning to go off-road, best to have the full Monty. I cannot find the loop paper. I kept telling you to make a checklist.
Do you really expect me to use newspaper?
John kept telling you to make a list. I just want to go home.
I listened to a guy called Hoggy on the internet.
Dividing the checklist into important categories and can cost you your life. If you cannot navigate, you are lost. This is a critical and essential commodity. Then retrace your steps before critical becomes a question of survival. Know what snakes, their families, and loved ones will look to you for an explanation. Communication is one of the most critical elements of your adventure. And put out a Mayday call. It is vital to have a printed version in which one can carry additional fuel supplies.
You charge it for your cell phone has failed, that your fuel is now below half tank.
The temperature is 4 degrees Fahrenheit, stuck in a gully with 3 feet of snow.
So, Alfred has fallen into a hole and has fractured his arm. Terrible pain, not only in his arm but also in his chest.
What on earth was she thinking? So your tracks are covered and cannot be seen. You forget that you only have 2 boxes of matches.
And unless he receives medical attention, he could die of a heart attack, and you could have his death on
Remember that devices include sources of light. It is important to have as many backup options as possible. Apply your mind to the potential challenges you may face. Chat to a paramedic or a doctor. You need to have the information available at a moment's notice. We have zero water intake for 72 hours, then we could potentially die. The main objective of our adventure should be to ensure that we stay alive and return.
We are on a 5-day hike.
Paul has sprained his foot and is in a great deal of pain.
Last week, I came across this guy, Ask Hoggy, and he was talking about being prepared for our adventure.
So we climb down into a ravine or valley. During the hours that follow, you become disorientated, and in the morning, you take off in the wrong direction. Your anxiety begins to mount. Pleasure and enjoyment can so easily and quickly turn to fear and concern. But believe me that when something goes wrong, you will realize the importance of such precaution. If you have no idea in which direction you should move, then the danger is that you begin moving in circles. It remains a good idea to have a GPS with you. Never forget that you only have that one life, and you need to protect that at all costs. Know the health history of all participants in your group, that water may not always be readily available when at the top. All sounds so logical, but you have to go through the process. When it comes to hiking adventures, fitness plays a major role. Keep together and stay together. The main objective of your adventure should be to ensure that you stay alive. Good afternoon, friends, and welcome to this final episode of the Stay Alive webinar. It has been a pleasure to share with you my experience, to share with you my motivation, why I believe it is so important to have good and adequate planning and preparation before embarking on an adventure. I want to thank you for coming to the realization that you may need guidance and that you are willing to learn and to share your information and experiences. And I look forward in the future to inviting you as a guest into my studio to hear about your adventures, your experiences, and benefits you have derived from participating in this webinar. There are two options when it comes to the manuals, namely an upgrade version or two, a normal version. This upgrade version of the webinar notes contains 107 pages summary of all important issues that need to be addressed and dealt with in the planning phase of your adventure. Not only will you receive the webinar notes, but you will also receive a second document called the Adventure Log, your route, your daily distance traveled, as well as a page where you can capture a record of your fueling stops, fuel consumption on each leg of your adventure. On the cover of this document, you can enter relevant information. You can capture all the personal information, both of your leader and your nominated coordinator, for every member of your group, for you to capture your daily distance, mileage and consumption between refueling stops. Will assist you in your fuel planning for any and all subsequent adventures the normal version, and includes no pictures or colors. Adventure. You can. Well, folks, I hope that you have enjoyed that presentation, and I hope that you will make good use of these manuals, which are being provided for your benefit, your safety, and ensuring that you stay alive and return safely from your adventures. It has been a pleasure working with you, and with that, goodbye.